My name is Dan Parent. I'm the superintendent of Danbury Local Schools. And I would also like to introduce our new incoming superintendent, Mrs. Carrie Bueller. See, I say, hi, I'm Dan Parent. Nobody applauds. No applause. See, this is how my day's gone. So Carrie works all day, you know, works hard. She comes here after school. We have a DLT meeting with our DLT, and Bill's there, and Sue's there, and Linda Merkin's there, and some of you guys were at the meeting. So it's over. I said, come on, let's go to dinner. So we go up to the galley at dinner, and we walk in, and hi, Abby. Abby's there with the girls softball team and Mr. Coach Zelms, and they're doing a team bonding, exercise. So we walk in, and I walk in. Nobody says anything. Carrie walks in. Oh, Mrs. Bueller, how are you doing? So, okay, I'm taking it okay. So then we sit down to eat, and over comes the waitress, and she's like, oh my God. She looks right at her. I love your hair and that dress and those shoes. So I said, I have hair. I said, what about me? So I'm getting used to this already. I'm getting used to this already. So this is where 11 years experience comes, and I think there is no way I'm letting her go first. Because if she goes first, no one's going to pay any attention to me. So what we're going to do tonight is I am going to give you an overview of the 17-18 school year, some of the great things we do here for Danbury. And then she's going to come up and give her kind of her vision of the future and some of the exciting things that she has planned going forward. But before we begin, probably even better, if any of you were at the cabaret, Scott Nave and our choir group did an incredible job, I think for the 42nd, I think it was the 42nd cabaret, and did a super job. And we were lucky enough to have one of those performers. If you went on Saturday, you were lucky enough to see her perform already. Unfortunately, I went on Thursday and she wasn't feeling well, so I'm really excited to see her perform. Miss Sarah Bassetti.
So this is an original song, and it's called Lightning. I was no stranger to heartbreak, and maybe that's why you caught my eye. Something about you just seems safe, and maybe that was the reason why we were standing at the deep end before we knew how to swim. Without a warning, we went soaring, baby, we just jumped in. 'Cause our love was like lightning, so fast and so strong, with no direction, it was beautiful. You took my hand and we danced across the sky, just like lightning. To say the least, we were unconventional, but we didn't care at all. I was reckless, but you were so controlled. And people started to talk. I heard the sirens, looked to the sky, and I listened to the thunder roar. But I kept driving, must have lost my mind, 'cause I kept coming back for more. 'Cause our love was like lightning, so fast and so strong, with no direction, it was beautiful. Gone in an instant, without a trace, we were destined to fall apart. From that very first day, you took my hand and we danced across the sky, just like lightning. Don't chase the storm, you'll end up hurt. Don't chase the storm, that's a lesson learned. Don't chase the storm, don't chase the storm, don't chase the storm. 'Cause our love was like lightning, so fast and so strong, with no direction. That's where I went wrong. Gone in an instant, without a trace. We were destined to fall apart from that very first day. You took my hand and we danced across the sky, just like lightning. 'Cause baby, we were lightning. I was no stranger to heartbreak, and maybe that's why you caught my eye. But boy, we lit up the sky.
Great job, Sarah. My role tonight and Carrie's role tonight is to highlight all the great things we do here at Danbury. And we're here to do the highlighting, but we would not be here and we couldn't do that without the great staff we have here at Danbury. So first of all, big round of applause for our staff. They do a super job. They get all the credit. And we're here to highlight all the great things that they're doing here at Danbury. So in our overview tonight, we're going to be talking about our academic excellence, some of our building highlights at the elementary, middle, and high school level, some of the great things we're doing with our visual and performing arts, the focus, or I should say renewed focus we're putting on student and staff safety, some of the enhancing facilities we'll be doing this summer, some of the athletic opportunities, our STEM programs, how we're trying to improve our stakeholder communications, and our continue investing in technology. Maybe a new clicker. Okay. Some of our academic excellence accomplishments in 2017-18. We received the Ohio Department of Education Momentum Award for our value-added scores in all of our grade levels. Our OD school report cards, we had the second highest report cards in all of Ottawa County. Our preschool, and I know we have some of our preschool people here, for a second consecutive year received our 5-star rating for Step Up to Quality. And our third grade guarantee passes rate, 100% of our students, once again, passed the third grade guarantee. So great job with those accomplishments. Our high school received a 100% graduation rate. Our high school also, for the 4th consecutive year, was recognized by the U.S. News and World Report as one of the top high schools in the United States. And our middle school students, our 5th grade, were the Academic Challenge champions. One of our goals at Danbury is, along with OD's goals, is making sure when our kids graduate, they're college and career ready. And one of the ways that we try to do that is with our partnership with BGSU and Findlay. This year, we offered 16 classes and 54 hours of College Credit Plus, which is the most in Ottawa County. And we entered into a partnership with the OCIC and the Business Advisory Council to help ensure that our kids are college and career ready when they graduate us. In terms of academic excellence, it begins in the classroom with our teachers. And we've done a lot of focus on teacher training this year. One of the ways we've done that is we entered into a contract with Dr. Jim Chappell to put a focus on differentiating and trying to improve our co-teaching experiences, which we hope to continue again next year. Earlier in the year at one of our trainings, Mr. Humphrey brought in the ACES group, which did our training for adverse childhood experiences. Our employees are dealing with a lot of challenges. At no time that I can think of in my 35 years are our students coming to us with baggage. baggage from home, baggage from relationships, and it's besides teaching our kids, it's really important that our staff has the tools to be able to recognize what this baggage is. And what ACES does is it gives our teachers and our employees training to try to identify, number one, what are some of the baggage our kids are coming with, but also, once we identify it, what can we do? How can we help them? So if they're coming to school with all this baggage, it makes it even more difficult to teach them. So if we can identify it early on, work with them, we can get a better teaching experience and also better educational experience for our kids. We held K through 12 department meetings 3 times this year. Our middle school educators went to the Ohio Middle Level Educators Conference. Our preschool teachers, right there they are. They're looking to have a good time. Went to the Ohio Early Childhood Conference, and some of our staff and our technology teachers went to the Ohio Education Technology Conference. Speaking of that, a round of applause. This whole night would not be possible without our tech director. And I told him earlier, I said, he's not super, he's super duper, he's awesome, he's upstairs. So how about a big round of applause for Mr. Techie? Now with our elementary school highlights. One of the things that we're excited about is the adoption for next school year of a new ELA curriculum for our reading curriculum to put more emphasis on reading at the early levels. One way we began that was Mr. Humphrey started, and this was really neat, he started last summer, was a One School, One Book initiative. And what we did at the elementary levels, each kid went home in the summer with a book. And they had to read a certain amount of chapters, and then Mr. Humphrey, through YouTube and our Facebook page, had a riddle. And if they solved the riddle, then they could go to a certain place and they got a prize. That was so successful, we did it again this spring. And that would not be possible without the partnerships we have with our community, a lot of our community businesses who provide prizes and really work with our elementary staff. So big round of applause for a lot of our community businesses. Also this summer, we are going to launch our Scholastic Reading Program where our kids are going to go home with a bag of books to do some reading this summer. One of the reasons we do that is that according to the state of Ohio since 2012, all students have to be ready to read by the end of 3rd grade. It's called the 3rd grade guarantee. And it puts a lot of pressure on our staff and sometimes on our students to make sure that happens. But since that was passed in 2012, so in the going on 6 years since it was passed, not one student at Danbury has not passed the 3rd grade guarantee. And we're on track this year, so that's a 100% passage rate over the last 6 years. So I think that's great for our elementary staff and our elementary students. One of our goals this year, since we just did our renovation, see if I can take that back. One of our goals this year, since we just did our renovation, each year Mr. Humphrey has a saying that to begin with the year with. And this year it was under construction to build up, never tear down, to put the focus not just on our new renovated elementary spaces, but also putting the focus on the importance of our students and staff being positive with each other. We don't want when our students are here, we want the education of our kids to be a very positive experience. We want them to leave here happy. And another way we did that is we brought in a guest speaker, Todd Waits, who brought in a concert where he talked about kindness and the importance of being kind to each other and how we treat each other, and it also tried to send our message through our elementary kids. Our elementary students are also going to be going on their 4th grade trip to Columbus. We celebrated Winter Olympics week. We held a March Madness readathon bracket, which from what I was told, Mrs. Kilkin, you guys won? The pizza party tomorrow for Mrs. Kilkin's kids and readathon. Our second graders, in partnership with Marblehead Bank, have partnered with them in a visit to Marblehead Bank, and they've come to the school to talk to our kids about the value of money and the importance of money. We celebrated our annual Dr. Seuss Week, and we are excited coming up probably in May for our annual Living Wax Museum. If you have not seen that, that's something you really need to come to come May when we put that on. The kids dress up as an Ohioan, and as a culminating project for fourth grade history, they have to research a famous Ohioan. They have to study, learn everything about them. Then they dress up as them, and they stand there like a living wax museum. You get to go around and ask our kids, who are you? And then they explain who they are and all their accomplishments and stuff. And our Mrs. Bing ran a fourth grade class, and it's a really good experience. That's coming up in May. At the middle school, we have our flagship and Beacon Award winners. These are students who've shown both academic excellence and academic improvement over the course of the school year. We had our annual middle school spelling bee, where Miss Grace Byro took first place. Emma Hosoffel took second place, and Ellie Fish took third place, and they went on to the county competition. Our 7th and 8th grade students went to the BGS Women in Science Day, where they got to look at some of the STEM stuffs at Bowling Green and look at some of the careers for women in the science careers. And there are a host of other activities that we have done in the middle school. And instead of me talking, Mrs. Hartman, who's over there, has put together a video for us to show us some of the exciting things the middle school has done this year. One of the things I think you can see is that education at Danbury for our students is not limited to what happens in the classroom. We do give our kids a lot of experiences outside the classroom where they can experience the important things in life, but also put a lot of their education to good use. Some of our high school highlights. And 2 years ago, our state legislature passed a new law changing our graduation rates, graduation requirements. And a lot of schools got very worried because they had to do with points and tests and credits, and there's a lot of hoops you had to jump through. And we are happy to say that with this graduating class of 2018, 100% of them are on track to graduate. So we have we're very happy with that. On April 23rd, if you come here on April 23rd, we'll have our annual senior scholarship and award night. And on that night, 31 of our seniors will be receiving over $66,000 in local scholarships from our local groups. And that amount of money is still going up. So we want a big thanks to our local community for doing that for us. We are moving our college classes to the semester from the year to allow our students more credit opportunities, and by doing this, our CCP enrollment went up over 140% increase this school year. One of the issues, unfortunately, that we are dealing with, not just in the school, but in the community and the state, is the opioid problem. And one of our goals through our student wellness is to make our students aware of the situation and bring in some guest speakers. One of the guest speakers we brought in to talk to our seniors was the DART, our Drug Awareness Response Team Officer, Trevor Johnson, who focused his presentation around drug awareness and our students making good decisions. Earlier, I talked about the partnership we had with OCIC and the Business Advisory Council. OCIC stands for Ottawa County Improvement Corporation. And the purpose of Ottawa County Improvement Corporation is to work with businesses to provide a better business opportunity and environment for businesses in Ottawa County. Part of that is a Business Advisory Council, which is a council made up of the superintendents of all 6 schools in Ottawa County and a lot of local businesses. And we meet once a month to talk about how we can partner schools and business together to make sure that our kids are career ready. Some of the ways we've done that is an Ottawa County Career Showcase, which was for our 9th graders in October. Some of our seniors went on a skilled trades bus tour with Mrs. Ward and Mr. Miller. We have offered our CEO internship program, which I'll go over in a couple of minutes, and we've had 2 job fairs. There was a summer job fair, which was held at Port Clinton back in early March, and there's going to be a senior job fair, which is going to be held for those senior students who are not sure what they're going to do when they graduate. We have some who, they know what they want to do. We have some who are going to college, but we have the handful who are not really sure. So we have partnered with local businesses that have job openings. And we're going to take our students along with the other schools in Ottawa County to meet with them and try to match up job openings with the kids and interested kids so they have a career path. Earlier I talked about our CEO program, and this is, if you are a business owner in the community or you're a parent, this is something that's really interesting. We started this last year, and what it is an internship program for juniors and seniors. It's for those juniors, seniors to get an idea, what do they want to do, when they grow up. And I'm still not sure what I'm going to do when I grow up, but kind of get an idea. We had 2 seniors, 2 juniors who did it this year. One did it at Monsoon Lagoon, and another did it with a local business and marketing. They spend time there either before, during, or after school. They earn high school credit, and they do a presentation to the Business Advisory Council, and they end up getting a stipend based on how many hours that they put in. It's an exciting program, And there are a lot of businesses that are interested in getting an intern. So this is a program we started last year, and we're really excited about it, and we're hoping we get more kids involved. When we started, we had 2 kids involved in the county. Then we went to 4 kids this past year. We're projecting 24 kids signed up going through a CEO program, so we're pretty excited about it. One of the things we also try to do here at Danbury is the importance of community and community service. Our students are required, Mr. Miller, how many hours? Our students are, before they graduate, required to do 20 hours of community service. And some of the community service projects we did this year are we have students here working with Habitat for Humanity, and we also have our students who performed at Kiwanis. They also performed at Otterbein. When you get hired as superintendent, you have 2 goals. One is the education of your kids. 1A is the safety of your kids. And we take those 2 goals very seriously here at Danbury. And this information I'm going to read to you here is on our webpage. Ensuring the safety of our students' schools is always a top priority for us at Danbury Schools. And we depend on everyone, parents, students, and staff, to maintain safety awareness and report any concerns to the appropriate authorities. If you become aware of an immediate threat to the safety of our students or school community, please call 911 to allow our local law enforcement and emergency services to respond quickly and appropriately. In other situations, Danbury's teachers and staff will always take any reported concerns seriously and ensure they are handled appropriately. If you're unable or uncomfortable reporting in person, we provide several alternatives for students, parents, and staff to share information. I'll show that to you in a second. Students also have the option to directly message a teacher or staff member through Schoology to report any concerns. And on behalf of our Board of Education, who many of them are here tonight, and all our employees who are also here tonight, the safety of our students is a top priority. It is only in working together that we can continue to make this the positive learning environment that our students can thrive. As I said earlier, one of the ways that we have set up to allow our students or parents to report, we have 2 hotlines here at school. And as superintendent, I will take the blame. We had a board meeting, I do believe last month, where we had a parent who expressed concern that we should set up a hotline, and we actually have had these 2 hotlines set up in the school probably for the last 4 or 5 years. And we probably, and I'll take full blame, have not done a great job of publicizing it. We've had these up in the hallways. They're pinned in the different hallways for our students to look at. But basically, they are 2 safe schools lines that as a parent or as a student, you can call and you can report, make an anonymous phone call. What ends up happening, as soon as that happens, I get an email and I get a phone call right away. Not at school, but on my personal phone. Let me know this happens. And then we have to investigate it. And they keep at us until we have to file a report with the state for this one, and on Public School Works on that one, to make sure that we review the cases and look at it. So it is taken very seriously, and I encourage our students and our parents to, be our eyes and ears. To also help with safety, we have put cameras in our hallways. We have cameras in our cafeteria, our gymnasium, and our outside areas. We have also installed vestibules to secure our school entrances. And that's what our camera system looks like. So we have all these camera angles that we can view just for our student staff safety. We hold annual evacuation drills in coordination with our local first responders. We hold periodic required safety drills for fire and tornado safety. And our district crisis response team meets bi-monthly to review safety procedures. Since this is a very high priority for us here at Danbury, Does anybody have any questions in terms of what we do for student staff safety? Yeah, Jen? She's right behind you. Yes, Mrs. Everett does. Mrs. Maturko has them in her offices. They have them in the different offices. And it also allows us that we can keep it on tape, we can keep it in file, we can review, Anybody else have any questions concerning safety? Like I said, I've said before, nobody can guarantee your child's safety 100%, but I think we do a really good job. I think I could guarantee 99% chance that if you bring us your child, they're going to be safe here at Danbury. We really take it seriously. We've made some adjustments in terms of monitoring doorways in the morning. We know where our soft zones are. Unfortunately, we have two choices. We can make it as safe as possible, or we can make it a prison. We've chose to try to make it as safe as possible with still being able to provide your child a great education experience. Does that mean they're going to be 100% safe? No, it doesn't. But we've buttoned some things down. We were doing better monitoring of doorways in terms of when we open doors, when we don't. Do we know there are still some, like I said, areas that we worry about in terms of what we call soft zones? Yes, we do. And we're doing our best to try to clear those up also. Our staff also, by law, completes the required staff AED training. We have a lot of our staff members trained in CPR and CPI. Our safety plans have been approved by the state of Ohio, and we do staff ALICE training in coordination with our local police and fire department. We also provide student training for student wellness and student safety. Our students in grades 5 through 12 went to Port Clinton to assembly by Tony Hoffman. That assembly was put on by our Kiwanis and Ottawa County Sheriff, and for him to send a message of the importance of being drug-free. The DART drug awareness response team I talked earlier, and our Ottawa County opiate silhouettes that were here in the fall at the football game and in our hallways during the winter. I talked earlier about what a great staff we had, and we've had some staff accomplishments this year. First of all, Miss Susan Hartman, where is she at? Back there, was honored to be a presenter at the Ohio Education Technology Conference, and from what I understand, it was a standing room only presentation on her use of drones. Where's she at? Mrs. Beth Hubens, who made her name in track, not basketball. I won't go any further. Was honored and inducted into the Ohio Association of Track and Cross Country Coaches Hall of Fame. Mr. Dick Heller, who, raise your hand, Dick, was right there, was honored for getting his 300th career coaching victory this year. And what a lot of people don't realize is we talk about our CCP and how many hours that we offer. What a lot of people don't realize is our high school staff went back to school for many hours to get extra training to be considered as adjunct professor. Each of those teachers is considered an adjunct professor for the University of Bowling Green or Findlay University. And we want to thank them for the extra time and effort they put in to allow our kids to take all those college credit plus classes here at Danbury. In terms of athletics, we had a couple athletic accomplishments this year. In middle school cross country, we had the individual cross country champion in Gabrielle Maringer. And our 7th grade girls basketball team was the conference champions. And we are also excited, beginning the 18-19 school year, we will be entering the Sandusky Bay Conference as a member of the River Division. This winter, we had our annual Athletic Hall of Fame induction, and this year we were honored to induct 3 alumni members. Chuck Davichik, Steffi Gregus, and Mark Terinsky were inducted into our Athletic Hall of Fame. We spent, if you've been to our elementary, you know we spent a lot of money, a lot of time and effort investing in our renovation of our pre-K through 2 classrooms and our elementary. This summer, the changes you're going to see are going to be primarily in the outside area. You're going to see some new home side lighting in our stadium, some new sidewalks. If you've been to the concession stand and the gravel in front of the concession stand and the gravel going in and out, that gravel is going to be removed and be paved over, and a sidewalk to the visiting side. There's going to be some new fencing around the stadium, and we are going to widen the track. The track on the home side is going to be widened to 8 lanes, so we have an 8-lane home side straightaway. And probably the biggest project you're going to see is the completion of our athletic fields on West Campus. Last year we talked about West Campus. Well, now we're unveiling the official name of our West Campus. Our West Campus is now going to be known as the fields at Stonecrusher Park. That area is going to be known as Stonecrusher Park, and you are going to be seeing, is Mike here? Mike's been bugging me for this for like, what, 5 years now? You're going to be seeing a home softball field, and that's going to be a turf softball field for our girls softball team. And is Coach Moore here? He's been bugging me for years too. You're going to be seeing, for the first time in a long time, a full-size practice field for our football team. So those are the big changes you're going to be seeing over at Stonecrusher Park come this summer. Besides athletics, we're also proud of our visual and performing arts. Coming up in May, we're going to be having our annual art show where Mrs. Mark and Mrs. Letterhose spent a lot of time putting this together to showcase the great artistic talents we have of our students. Our performing arts put on a fall play, as we recently spoke about, our cabaret, which happened this spring, and our annual with Mr. Osavicki and Mr. Nave, our annual band and choir concerts. Earlier this year, we were honored, our marching band was honored to be selected to participate at the Bowling Green State University to perform with their marching band October 21st, and Mr. Nave and our band went over and made us proud. Another one of our goals here at Danbury is we want to improve our stakeholder communication. And if you ever look at my evaluations, that's one of the things I always get dinged for. I always get dinged. We need to improve communications. We need to improve communications. So we have been working to try to improve communications with our parents, our community members, and the area. We've done this by continuous community surveys. When the board made the really smart decision of hiring Mrs. Butler to be the new superintendents, they went to the community. They put in focus groups to ask the community, what did you want in a new superintendent? We have our Laker Community Connections, which is a group of business owners which meets bi-monthly with me to talk about improving the connection between the school and the community. Our electronic media presence through Facebook and Twitter, and our marketing efforts, especially adding billboards and movie theater ads to try to promote our brand, let people know how important Danbury is and what we have to offer for kids. We are also continually investing in technology. We are continuing with our one-on-one technology initiative. We've added devices, iPads, and Chromebooks to grades K through 2 this year. We are continually updating our elementary classrooms technology. We are going to be adding computer science classes in the middle school next year in grades 7 and 8. And we are continuously investing in the infrastructure to make sure that we can offer a great technology experience for our kids. As I stated earlier, besides the classroom, one of our initiatives is to educate the whole child. Ways that we accomplish this is through student wellness. Mrs. Hubens does a great job with our Kids in Motion program in the morning. Our kids come and she has them running around going crazy, and it's, believe it or not, it's all organized. She knows what she's doing, and our kids love it. It's a great program. Our TNT mentoring program in cooperation with the CASA, we have a lot of community volunteers who have one-on-one mentoring with our kids. The before mentioned community service program that our high school kids take care of. Our after-school latchkey program with, is Mrs. Coles here? Is Mrs. Wise here? And Mrs. Plattner? These ladies deserve a round of applause. Give them a big round of applause. They have been doing this, Mrs. Coles first year, and Mrs. Wise and Mrs. Plattner, they've been doing this for how many years now? Yeah, they've been doing this 3, where they take care of our kids in our latchkey program, and believe me, when I say they treat them like their own, they do. They do just a super job with those kids. Our Real Money, Real World program that we have in cooperation with OSU Extension, where we work with our 8th graders to teach them the importance of money and finance. Peer tutoring with our older kids tutoring our young students, and a lot of annual assemblies. And now I'm sure this is what you're all been waiting for. Mrs. Carrie Bueller.
You know, I told him if he would have wore pink, they would have commented on his outfit this evening. Don't you agree? Maybe another time. Well, thank you so much for being here. I know you all are crazy busy, so just the fact that you would take time this evening to come and share and hear the many great things that are happening at Danbury. And I know many of you are staff members too, so you've been here all day, and then you come back at night. So I want you to know how much that I appreciate that, because really it takes all of you to produce all of that. So we just get to highlight that, but it really is all of your work. Now, you'll be thankful. I've restricted myself to 1 page, and I told Mr. Parent, normally I don't speak off of a script. I do better just speaking off of the cuff, but I was really afraid that I would get so excited and long-winded that we'd be here for a while and you guys would be like, I am never going to attend one of those again. So no worries. I did limit myself this evening so that I don't have you here for the rest of the night. I can't believe it was literally 6 or 7 years ago, maybe, I think Mr. Parent, or maybe a little bit longer, that I stood on the stage here and introduced Alice to you. And I know that when I came here and I spoke about school safety and I came through your building, I just felt like a warmth and a sense of family and community here, and it was really unique in such a fashion that I remember it to this day. And I've had the pleasure of visiting a lot of schools and do a lot of training on different things, whether it's motivational or student-centered or school safety, and every school has its own pulse. But I gotta say, yours was just infectious, and I remembered it. And then I gotta give credit to Mr. Miller, because every time that I would attend a principal's meeting thereafter I did the safety training, especially after Mr. Parent had said, okay, I'm going to be retiring in 3 years, every time I would attend this principal's meeting, Mr. Miller would always conveniently sit next to me. And then he would say to me, so are you ready to come to Danbury? And we would have this conversation every time. And I would say, oh, I don't know if I'll be lucky enough to be at Danbury. So I'm a little bit emotional that I'm at Danbury. It's exciting for me, and I hope that you are as excited as I am. I'm ready to embrace the opportunities that are ahead for our students at Danbury Schools. Because see, together, you, me, our community, our students, our staff, we're going to make a life-impacting difference in the lives of our students and our future leaders. It's the little things that make a big difference, and we can't do them by ourselves. It really will take all of us collectively to get done what we want to get done. As you could see tonight, that Danbury will continue to build and accelerate off of the success that was already established under the leadership of Mr. Parent. And I have big shoes to fill. And I'm so grateful because there's not many superintendents that would allow their incoming superintendent into the building ahead of time or meet with them or take phone calls with them. But Mr. Parent really has went out of his way to make me feel welcomed. I've had an opportunity to be in the building a couple times, interact with the students, interact with the elementary and middle school staff. I need to get to the high school staff because right now I feel like they've been neglected. And I promise that I'll get there before the year is up. But I've got to tell you, what great kids we have. What amazing staff that we have. I even have gotten a little carried away bragging about you back in Genoa, saying that, I haven't met a person who's not friendly and welcoming. Now even my high school students are like, is that Danbury blue that you have on today? So I now have to be careful what I'm wearing because apparently that's transitioning over there. But I do really want to thank Mr. Parent sincerely for the opportunity to be able to come in ahead of time and interact and be in the building and making me feel so welcome. I truly appreciate all that he has done, truly has hired a staff that's dedicated and devoted, doing great things. And so it's just going to be such an honor to come in and try to fill those shoes. So, Mr. Parent, thank you for the opportunity and the welcoming and for all that you've done for our district over the years. I think that we really need to give Mr. Parent a round of applause. So what next? I mean, so many great things. What is next for Danbury? Do I have all those answers for you tonight? No. No, I don't. What we really need to do first is take a look at what our vision of Danbury schools are. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to meet with our administrative staff this summer, and we're really going to spend a couple days together talking about what is Danbury, what are our core values. If somebody would come in here right now, what would they identify as key things that Danbury stood for? And what we say, what we do, what we promote, what we put out. What is that vision of Danbury? And I think once we can establish that, then we can meet with our staff in August and say to them, here are some of our core values. Let's talk about what that's going to play out. What's that strategic plan going to look like so that everything that we say and do moving forward is going to align to those core values and going to align to things that we want to accomplish as Danbury Lakers. We want to continue to drive those priorities and those strategies. We want to be mission and purpose driven, aligned to those values. We want to truly foster vibrant leadership, a driven culture that truly impacts the lives of our students. See, for me, I want to make sure that as a staff and a community, we have children that are future ready, leadership trained. How many times do we say to our kids, I want you to be a leader. You need to be a leader. But then what do we do with that? Do we teach them how to be leaders? Do we put them through workshops? Do we do book studies together? What do we do to develop that other than just talk about it? So we need to look at that, and how are we going to get our kids ready for that workforce that's coming, those jobs that aren't even created yet. We've got to build kids who can speak, who can write, who can listen, who can strategically think, and who can work with a wide diverse of people. And we've got to start here with that. I want us together to work on those opportunities. Because see, with Danbury, we are lucky enough to really create an individualized and a unique opportunity for our Danbury kids. Danbury, I want to be more than just a school. I want it to be a second home for our kids. We are so privileged in that we get to spend more time with our students than some families get to. And I want to make sure that what we do here, first and foremost, is for kids. The one philosophy I've always carried is that I'm going to love those kids as if they're my own. So if they need a hug, they're going to hug it. Yeah, I'm a hugger. Oh, Carrie, should you be hugging? You could get sued. You know what? If I lose my job because I hug a kid, this was not the place for me. Because there are kids who need that. Are there some kids that need a little swift kick in the butt? Light their little hiney on fire? Yep. And we might need to do that too. But in my perspective, as long as I'm treating them the way I would treat one of my own 4 children, we're going to be okay. We need to create memories, experiences, relationships that will never be forgotten. we will become, in time, the district everyone wants to visit, model from, and potentially attend. Danbury schools will be forward thinking, and people are going to wonder why, how do they get that all done? That's what we're going to continue to be. I'm going to ask the staff when we get together in August, what is your why? This was something that I interviewed with. You know, days can get tough. I don't care what field you're in, the field of education, the field of medicine, whatever it may be. There are days that you just don't want to get up, or you think, I can't handle another change, another rollout, another financial cut. But what I'm going to say to our staff and what we're going to talk about together in August is, what is our why? Why are we here? What keeps us going? We're going to share those out and then really bring those together and help that define who Danbury is. Let me tell you who I am and what my why is. My why is very simple. I sincerely love people. Whether they're little babies or toddlers, whether they're kindergartners afraid to leave mom and dad for the first time and they wet their pants, whether they're second graders or third graders and they're starting their little change, they hit middle school, they're cocky, hormonal, emotional, you have no idea what the day is going to bring. Or when they hit high school and they're ready to make that change into adulthood and they think they have all the answers and you know absolutely nothing. All the way up to the elderly. They're so wise and smart and lovable. I love people. And I will say every day, I have the best job in the world because we are in the business of transforming lives. We have the opportunity every single day to make or break kids. We're going to make them. And when they leave Danbury, they're going to have so many awesome memories to think about and reflect upon and share that other people are going to want to be a part of that. In closing, I'm going to show you a video clip. I've used this video clip with students. I've used the video clip with athletes. I've used the video clip with staff, college students, and parents. I want you to watch the video clip. As you watch it, I have a couple things I want you to take notice of. And I promise you when the video clip's closed, I'm going to summarize and I'm going to stop. But as you watch the video clip, I want you to pay attention to the athlete's comment at the start of football practice. Then I want you to watch what he does and what the coach does. I want you to watch the fans, or his teammates, they're not fans, his teammates, and how they respond and what they do or don't do. And I want you to watch the coach. And then we're going to talk about why in the world am I making you watch a football clip. Let's take a look. There's so many different ways that I love to use this clip, but I think this is how I'm going to do it given the setting for tonight. There will be times when you may feel like the athlete blindfolded, maybe a little uncertain about what's to come, or feeling like you're a little bit out of your comfort zone, unsure whether or not you can do it. And it'll be at that point where I'll say to you, or I'll say to our students, or I'll say to our staff, or I'll say to our community, trust where we're going and what we're doing and what we're going to be about. As I watch the team and we watch him come down the field, it shocked me that none of them cheered. None of them encouraged. How many times do we have the opportunity where we could encourage our coworkers, we could encourage our child, we could encourage the team, we could be the voice of encouragement that they needed to hear, but in the past we just remain quiet, walk out, oh, that was a great assembly, but you never tell them. Oh, that was a great staff meeting, but you never tell them. We have to be ready to take a stand and cheer on our own people. I think one of the greatest things the coach said to the athlete was, if you walk around defeated, so will everyone else. So I'm going to say that about Danbury. If at any time we walk around defeated, so will everyone else. So we have to become this positive voice of what we're about and what Danbury's about, and getting people excited about all the great things that are happening, because we need for our kids to hear it and see it on a daily basis. And that's what I want us to be about. Can I give you absolute specifics, what we're going to do month 1, year 2, year 3? No. You know why? Because I haven't met the kids yet. And they're what's most important to us. And they're why we're here. And they're our customers. They're a school of choice. We need to make sure that what we do is about them. I need to think like a kid, but make decisions like an adult. But I'll tell you what I'm so comfortable with. We've got a great staff. I've seen them interact with kids and how they love on them and how they educate them and they give them their all. And so far, everyone that I've met in the community is supportive of this school. This is the pulse and the heartbeat of this community. So for me, I'm really excited about the future and where we're going to go and the opportunity to meet and interact and lead and grow with the students and the staff that are here. I want to thank you for your time. Questions that you have, either for myself or Mr. Parent, that we can answer? You're just so dumbfounded, you just don't even know what to say.
No, they're all thinking, man, that Mr. Parent's smart. He doesn't want to follow that.
No, they're not.
On behalf of Carrie and myself and Danbury Local School Board of Education, we appreciate you giving us a few moments of your time so we could highlight what a great job our staff and our kids do to make Danbury the great place it is. Thank you for coming.